bring Taryn home. Today is Sunday, October 4th of 2020. What I'm about to share with you may be triggering to some of you, so there's a trigger warning with this video. And it's for adults primarily. Some of the information may be hard for children or kids, babies to understand or hear. Taryn's my little boy. He's 6 years old. And I'm Emily Jolly. And I echo to bring him home. Home being where there's safety and there's love. Due to what has been happening for over the course of 4 years, and especially most recently, Taryn's father is not his safety and not his love. Due to what I've witnessed firsthand and what my boy has been telling teachers and police over the last 4 years, all the evidence of diagnoses and photographs and videos and other witnesses of his testimonies. It's a 1,000-page document. It's 10 gigabytes. And it all shows how Taryn's father, Tim, is the real threat to Taryn's safety. So I want to show you some things. Because over the last 4 years, I have just exhausted myself with law enforcement and attorneys and courts and the attorney general, the governor, the lieutenant governor, congressman, and the district attorney in 2 different counties, and no investigation's been done. I've even given them this huge document and they don't investigate it. Some of them say, no, we don't want it. They won't even take it. Law enforcement wouldn't even take the document. Other ones say, oh yeah, we looked at it, there's nothing there. And I'm like, what do you mean there's nothing there? Not this one. There's 16 diagnoses by 10 different professionals. These are all diagnoses. All these plastic slips in here are photographs of injuries to my baby that are only done through a sexual sick They all say there's no reason to accept my document because they're like, oh, well, we know what this case is. We know who you are. You're just making this up. I can't make this up. My son began reporting to teachers at the age of 3 and police, and then reported again at the age of 5. He even did forensic interviews, which are like these super high stress, I don't know. They take the kid and they put him in a room with a stranger, and the stranger asks him a bunch of questions with a camera. And he disclosed a whole bunch of stuff. And when he was 3, he told his teacher he wanted to kill his body because his dad was hurting him so bad. He was 3 and he wanted to commit suicide. So what did the court do? They gave his father 49% custody when he had nothing. He had visits, and I was trying to disclose this information, and by Taryn sharing a suicidal tendency about his father hurting his body so bad, the court decides, oh yeah, we're just going to give him to the pedophile father. That'll resolve this issue. Then later when, of course that case was dismissed, just so you know. Then later, when Taryn was 5, he successfully did these CJC videos, the Children's Justice videos, these forensic interviews. And he reported in those interviews a bunch of things, but he also said, my dad puts his fingers in his bum and my butt. He said he puts his finger and his penis in my bum. And the judge then admitted on the record that there was evidence that Taryn was a victim of child sexual abuse. Admits it. And then also that he was suffering from maladaptive behaviors. Turns to Tim and says, I know you might be concerned Taryn will talk. So just take him to a therapist. Tim was demoted from being a parent in that court to a guardian. And he was given full custody by a court that I don't even know exists. Check this out. So here's the final order. And here it says the 3rd District Juvenile Court. Okay. But then they seal it. Oh, first of all, they say no documents were filed in opposition. What that means is that my whole pile of documents that I filed in court, objecting, challenging jurisdiction, arguing that they needed to look at the facts of the case, they needed to look at the abuses and the diagnoses, they said no documents were filed in opposition. That right there is a bold-faced lie. That makes this whole thing fraudulent. The whole thing. It voids the whole document. That's one thing. Here's something else. It has a stamp by some 3rd Juvenile District. What's a 3rd Juvenile District? What court's that? I don't know what the court that is. I know that there's a 3rd Juvenile, or that there's a 3rd District Juvenile Court. But the only way that they can get jurisdiction is if there's been a crime committed to a child where the child then has to get figured out as to how to protect the child. There was no crime against Taryn by me. There was a crime by his father, but then they gave him to his father. So, no justice for Taryn. So I obtained additional paperwork reflecting my full custody. And when I did that, in June of 2020 of this year, I moved to Oregon with my son for a fresh start. And Tim, his father, worked with this corrupt cop, Christopher Benedict of the Unified Police Department in Mill Creek, Utah, and they falsified warrants and an Amber Alert to come after me. Falsified it. Why am I not in jail right now if I'm actually truly a criminal of a federal crime? I'm not in jail. Here it is. What, 2 days later from the Amber Alert and all that mess? Okay. So Tim works with this corrupt cop to steal his son back so he can continue raping him for profit. So they used the Oregon police here to arrest me and my friend, by the way, with these trumped up charges without even showing us. I've never seen the warrants. They won't show them to us. I don't even know what the warrants look like or if they're even signed by a judge. Then they take us to jail so they can steal my son from me. But they only take us to jail so they can get mugshots. And they didn't even take our fingerprints. They didn't even properly book us in jail. They just took our mugshots so they can have their optics for their media. Then the county sheriff went and reviewed the warrants that they submitted to put us in jail and realized they were falsified. So he let us out. That's why we're not in jail, because we're not actually criminals. The warrants were falsified. faked, fraudulent, created by a corrupt cop, just so they could steal my son, my baby. I wish for Taryn to be safe. I wish for him to be safe from abuse, from rape, from sodomy, and from sexual exploitation. These are all abuses by his father, Timothy Aaron Butler, and his accomplice, Amelia Jensen Menendez. They both live in American Fork, Utah. I have reason to believe they're part of a pedophile ring. My son has been sharing of his own words to many people over the span of 4 years of these abuses that his father has been inflicting on him. All I've done is echo his words and ask for help. And I will continue to do so until my dying breath to bring justice and safety to my little boy, who is innocent in all of this and who deserves to have a home that's safe, with love. And not that kind of sodomy kind of love. Real love. Gentle love. My baby.